behind the days. And we're in.
We're back.
We're
Behind
back.
The Desk.
Wait, who are we?
I'm Mel.
I'm Luke.
Welcome
and this
to Behind
is
the Desk.
Behind the Desk. That was good.
We've
we
never
rehearsed
prepped our
that.
beginning.
It didn't go well. We have a person in the studio.
A person? A superstar.
And by the studio, we mean not our normal studio. This is our first on the road interview.
We really took a road trip to Midtown.
Yeah, to interview a Broadway star.
A Broadway star.
A big Broadway star.
A big old one. And yeah, so Mel, let's get this cracking and rolling and doing a hand jive.
Oh, I'm so glad you passed that up.
Can you tell us a little something about?
The baton was just thrown at me.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey back at New York and something fun that's happened to you recently?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of something for you, but go ahead.
What is it?
I'll let you speak.
What is it? I don't know.
You playing the bearded lady.
Oh, yeah. So I came back to New York because I thought I had a job.
Yeah.
Because I thought I had a job, but I didn't. Fun stories. So I didn't have a job, so I was homeless.
You're sleeping on my couch. You're not homeless.
I was homeless and jobless, and I was hustling, as we do. And I hustled my way
she's
into
a hussy.
a gig, and it was Fox News' birthday party, where I played the bearded lady from The Greatest Showman.
This is the
And they paid me to sing that one song for some 8-year-olds.
This is moi.
This is me. That's the song. Thank you. I didn't know if we were allowed to say it.
I don't
Copyright
think.
reasons. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they're coming after.
Oh, great.
We're not there yet.
It was a magical experience that inspired me to work a lot harder than I do, so that one day I can also live on Central Park South.
Oh.
In a penthouse apartment.
Like the Fox News people?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be on Fox News. That's your question.
I was like, wow.
I wouldn't know how to tell the news. But yeah, it was really fun. It was really great. I had a wonderful time.
Did you?
The 8-year-olds thought I had a real beard, which was humbling.
Oh, I didn't know you actually wore a beard.
Yeah. They're 8 years old.
I thought you just had one with you. Oh, come on. Come on.
So yeah, that's what I did. I had a blast, and now I'm unemployed again.
You are not.
I'm just kidding. It was
Oh
one
my God.
afternoon. Now I'm done. It was really fun. It was a really great time.
Well, that's fun. That's a really great time.
And nothing has happened to Luke. So let's get to it.
It's virtually true.
We are
Life.
very, very excited. Today we have the wonderful Josh Walden with us.
That's right.
Joshua Walden.
And here.
At their homes, people are screaming.
Of course.
They're like, "Wah!" They're
Yeah.
losing their minds.
I don't know how many people know me. Many people know me, right?
Many people
Yeah.
know you. You're
Yeah.
a superstar.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm a superstar at Pearl Studios, right?
You are.
Oh,
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
Who is it? Madeline was always like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to meet the incredible Josh Walden."
The
Like,
Josh
Yeah,
Walden.
it was
Do
so
you-
funny because she always just saw my name
That's how I
on
felt.
every board. Yeah,
I remember exactly meeting you. I remember the exact moment I met you.
and your
I was
life
5
changed
My life was-
forever.
my life-
Guys, but Mel, something significant just happened.
What?
Josh just gave away our best kept secret of where we were.
Oh,
Oh my God!
people knew. People knew. That wasn't.
I ruined
It's
it.
okay.
Oh my God.
People knew. We were not subtle.
Oh my God!
We were
I've ruined
entirely-
everything.
No.
Oh my
I remember
gosh.
the exact moment. You walked in. You had a duffel bag.
Duffel bag,
Yeah, you had like a large bag.
large bag.
A large. Maybe it wasn't a duffel
Yeah.
bag. You had a large bag, and you were
Big.
wearing bright yellow.
Yes.
And you had sunglasses on. And you walked up to the 519 desk. It was like my third shift at the job that no one knows. And and you walked up to it and you said, "Hello." And I said, "Hello." And you said, "Hello, I'm here. I have a studio." And I said, "Oh my, don't we all?"
Oh my
That's
God.
so funny. I don't even know if I when do I wear sunglasses? Like, I'm trying to think of that time that I owned sunglasses because
You don't
Did
wear
you lose
sunglasses?
them?
yeah, either I lose them or I wonder when that was. Years ago. What?
It
3.
was like 2 years.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so
God, it was that. We've known you for 2 years.
Yeah, you've known me a long time.
Oh my Lanta.
so it was magical, and then I found out who you were, and and you walked away, and my desk partner at the time was
Your
like,
your lover.
My lover.
my desk partner was like, that's Josh Walden. Got it, and you
That
were
is-
imprinted in my brain.
Good.
So I knew you every single time you came in.
Well, it's interesting. Like I think I'm gonna tell people, like, if you want to have buzz around you, just go to studios and rent, and then they'll put your name on the door. And then everyone you run into, they're like, "Oh my God, I saw your name, over at, I was auditioning, and there it was."
We
And they
really,
keep-
we work hard on those paper signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm serious. It's like helping my career. Everyone's like, "What are you working on?" And
It's more than half
yeah.
the battle to know that you've made it in New York is whether or not you've got your name on a paper sign in the studio. in
No,
New York.
for reals though.
Some like hungover girl.
Yeah.
wrote-
No, but it's so true. It's
No,
really
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You are not wrong.
No, people like Google you. They like see you.
Yep.
If you're the one next to you, they're like, "Who is this human? Who's
Yeah.
that
Wow.
person?" They get their own studio.
Wow.
But it happens like throughout the whole week. Just like friends I know, like, "Oh, I tried to stop in, or I saw your name," and so it's really like, if you want to improve your career, just rent studio space.
And that is his first tidbit of advice. For us. He has so
Your
much
career or like your
into
following?
us.
just just so that there's buzz, that you're like, oh, you're rehearsing something, you're working on something. It just makes people think that you're like active.
Yeah, I want you to start like a new like Instagram as like Mel McSweeney from Pearl Studios, but like it's people have just seen your name on signs and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
No,
and
totally.
It's like that's how they follow you, is those pictures from like the signs and things
Like,
like
Mine's
who-
never on the sign.
Okay, you
I
know what?
just go
That's
into
this is
studio.
the alter ego I'm
I just
creating
walk
for you.
in.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is my studio now.
No, just create unnecessary
Oh,
buzz. And
I had so many. I think people know me as the girl that barges in on their bookings.
Oh, you're like, time's up.
No,
Gotta go.
sometimes it's not even time.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
I just forget people are there, and I'm like, hello.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I just wanted to sing. I just wanted to belt out. So my bad. Like we just did to a poor man in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
We
He
were
was
like, hello,
sweating.
and he was
It
like,
a
oh,
hot
I
mess.
won't leap anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
done with that leaping.
He
So
was
Josh,
leaping, yes.
Tell us about yourself
Yes.
Where would you like me to start?
at the beginning.
At the beginning, I come from New Hampshire.
right.
At the age of 9, I remember I told my parents I want to be a silver screen actor. And we had just moved to New London, New Hampshire, and my mom was going to Colby Sawyer College, and they had a children's acting troupe. And so she's like, all right, I'm going to put my son in this. And then at age 9, I was hooked, and that's all I ever wanted to do. And I had musical theater, the posters, like theatrical posters all over my walls.
Oh wow.
I didn't have any friends who really were into theater except my.
I thought you were just gonna say I didn't have any friends.
I didn't have any
And
friends.
this
Full
took
stop.
a turn.
Yeah.
That's it.
No.
Theater was my friend.
Like, I remember I would do this children's theater group in the summer. It was called Cat Company, and originally it stood for Children's Acting Theater, and then it turned to Kearsarge Arts Theater. And those were my friends. Those are the people I couldn't wait to be with because, like, I just was so enthralled with musical theater. But I was made fun of so much, like being a girl, being gay, that I didn't dare take any kind of lessons. So I didn't dare take dance lessons. I didn't dare take acting or singing. I just would do shows. And I knew once I got to college, I was like, that's when I'm going to start training. So everything was just in me. Like, my mom studied dance. And so it was like inside of her, and she loved Gene Kelly, and that was like my first idol. And I knew, and what's interesting is with my choreography today, it's all kind of inspired by his storytelling. So she gave me the passion. My dad was kind of like a musician, on the side, not for money, but just always in the bathroom, either playing a flute or a clarinet or a saxophone or trombone. Not trombone.
Why did you take
Trumpet.
all those instruments into the bathroom?
Just because it was like a nice space for him. Yeah.
It's like, oh,
I didn't
that's
question.
an
I was like,
interesting
yeah,
way
that
to
makes sense.
pass the
It's
time.
almost slightly dirty. He went into the bathroom to play his trumpet. That's a little dirty, but it's very true.
So father was playing his flute. this
Yeah,
afternoon.
exactly. Yep.
It was what?
No, so, and then I remember my high school, Proctor Academy, was a very progressive school where I met everybody from every race. I met my first, gay, teacher. She was I think the dean of students, and she was a dorm parent, and so I was just exposed to everything and everyone, and coming from New Hampshire, you don't have that much exposure to, it was incredible. I kept thinking, I think in my town there was only one black kid in our school, And sometimes like being Jewish, that was like the other kind of like minority, but it was just all white. So Proctor Academy like blew my mind. Like it was just everyone represented. Even though I didn't come out, I could see people that were, we had assemblies where we met gay people, and the woman that was in charge of the drama department, she was instrumental in me going to NYU. Because I got into NYU, but my dad's like, you can't go, you can't afford it. And so I was like, okay. And then my teacher was like, no. At the time, NYU was the place to go. Cap 21 was the musical theater training program. And so she called my dad, convinced him. And then I went to
you
NYU.
moved to New York at 17? Or
18, yeah. Yep,
You've been here ever since?
1994. Yep, now I'm aging myself, but that's all good.
Atlanta.
Crazy, right?
That's
And we were
nuts.
born when?
92.
93.
Amazing. So just as you were taking your first steps, I was taking my first ballet class ever.
You took your first ballet class at NYU
Yeah.
here in New York.
Mm-hmm.
My.
Wow.
And
No,
now
I-
you're doing a ballet right now.
Yep.
That's nutso.
Well, I knew it's what I wanted, and I knew when I was coming here, I finally met my people. I met my troupe, and every day I would cry because I wanted it so much, but I knew I was behind everybody, but I had the most amazing teachers. They're still my mentors today.
So you're of the belief that even starting late in life as a dancer can still happen for you?
What's interesting now being in this ballet and being around people who are only focused in that, their skill set is so high in that area. But I think for me, being a boy, being a dude, having like a pedestrian kind of sensibility that now has technique made me look different or made me look interesting or made me look like a human being, which I think has helped in every audition that I've gone to.
Wow.
That's very real. I feel like that's consistently a thing in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I think with competitive, like competition style dancing, and So You Think You Can Dance, and other like things that are pushing people to be extraordinary technicians, I think the expectations of dancers now is insane. Like take a Newsies or something like that.
Well, it's
The
not
boys.
just technique, it's just showy and risking your safety
Right.
for the spectacle. That's
But that's kind of like a norm or like a to be expected.
Now,
Yeah.
right.
So I think if I was starting out now, I might have more difficulty. But I remember some people have told me, like sometimes I get upset, like I didn't get a Broadway show, and then a friend who was like in the room will be like, you almost made it. The director loved that you looked like a guy when you danced. Like you were kind of like dude-ish. But it's interesting because sometimes I'll do shows where they'll say, whoa, too much ballet, Walden. So I have this like interesting thing where I'm always like trying to scale down or scale up, but I can do that. I'm not stuck in not being able to or overly doing it. Like I'm able to be quite flexible.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But I busted my butt. Like I wanted it so badly. College was everything to me. I missed one class to go
The whole 4 years.
to go see my first boyfriend, who is now in Come From Away, Cesar Samayoa. He was the love of my life, the first boyfriend ever, and he was at Ithaca College, and I took the class off to go take a bus, and unfortunately, I think we broke up on this moment, but no animosity, no sadness. It was like we were in two different colleges and we were
Yeah.
gay. It was just like, it was impossible. Yeah, a lot of work. So, yeah. So,
It's called dedication.
yeah, and college. Oh, damn.
Hey, take it easy.
Yeah.
Gotcha. God, you come to one show that I do and you think you're happy's ass, okay? Hey,
How many shows have you been doing? That's what I thought.
Oh,
how many shows have you been in?
oh.
Yeah. Bing, bing, bing. Just bouncing back and
Anyways,
forth.
back
So
to you,
you,
Josh.
yeah, like so you came here when you were 18.
Yep, 18. Yep.
What age were you when you booked your first Broadway gig and what was
25. I booked 42nd Street. And it
God, I have
was
3 months left.
yeah, no, well, what's an interesting little thing is my agents were like, great, you made your first Broadway show by 25. And they were like trying to assume that that's a cutoff. Like if you don't, by then, it's going to be difficult. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because I know so many friends who have booked it later, like in their mid-30s. They've received their first Broadway show and then their second. But at the time, it felt like, oh, yes.
What did you do for the 3 years? You just hustled in New York?
Uh-huh.
Did you have any weird survival jobs? Like Pearl Studios?
Luckily, I think I catered once or twice, and I kept being promoted because I was nice, but I just hated it.
Head.
Like I just be like, hi. They're like, great, you're now this person.
You're
I'm
head
like,
waiter.
Yeah.
He's like, be.
No, seriously. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. My friend taught me like the silverware and everything. My friend Noah, and but no, I would just smile and be friendly. I'm like, hi, great, you're now the maitre d' or whatever.
Oh,
like
wow.
no, it just, but I hated it so much. I taught jazz at NYU. I actually taught Anne Hathaway before she became uberly famous.
Casual.
She was
Anne Hathaway.
was-
This is why we have you on.
yeah, please. No, she was Annie Hathaway, and she was so darling and so sweet. And I remember one time she came into class late, and I hated that kind of like behavior. And she rushed right over to a bar, and I said hi, and she said. No, I first said, hi, how are you? She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm so late, but I have a great excuse. I was at an audition. And I said, I could care less. I was like, sit down in a chair, get out your notebook, and write down why you will never be late to my class again. So Anne Hathaway was sitting in the corner writing these amazing notes. She never was late to another class. And yeah, she was adorable. It's interesting when you
I thought
see...
you were gonna say because she wasn't in your class anymore because she booked some big.
Oh
movie
no,
or
right.
some shit
Well,
like
she
that.
probably auditioned for The Princess Diaries.
That's
Maybe
what I
that's
figured,
what
like,
it
what it
was.
was.
I don't care about this.
But-
Come to jazz class.
was
Seriously.
never late again.
Yeah.
But to date,
I bet
like,
you she's never late for a shoot either.
well, I mean, I hope that I've had some influence on her professionalism.
I'll ask her
Yeah.
when I
No,
meet
but
her.
the 2 times I've bumped into her, one time she was walking down the street, and I was like, Annie! And she kind of like freaked out, and then was like, oh, Mr. Walden or Josh. And we just talked for a second, and then when I was performing on the Tonys, she walked past me. I think she was all done up as a presenter, and I was like, it's me. She's like, oh my God, you look fabulous. So she's been so sweet every time. But that was like the last time I saw her, probably 2005. So
What
it's
did
been a while.
you perform on the Tony?
La Cage aux Folles. I did the first revival, and we were performing the big can number. Yeah. It's on YouTube. It's like a glorious clip. Like we were just living. And we were on the Radio City stage, and it's not forgiving. It's like metal. So at first I was like, how the hell are we going to jump?
Yeah.
But because your adrenaline's going nuts, you're like floating. So, but that was like the most exciting thing because it was on TV, and when we won Best Revival, all of us girls ran on stage, and apparently I was close to the mic, and all you can hear is me laughing or something, or like giggling. Because I was just so excited. I was like dressed as a woman with pigtails and like this big peacock can dress that weighed like 90 pounds and just like living.
Did you, when you left NYU, were you like, these are my goals, I want to be on Broadway by this age, or were you just like, I'm just going to accept everything that happens and hustle as hard as I can?
Right. Well, the interesting thing was, once I graduated, I knew I had to get my whole face reconstructed.
Oh my God.
Because
forget this about you.
I had a deformity where my lower jaw was growing faster than everything else. So a normal bite, all the teeth are together. Mine only made contact in the back. So
Oh, wow.
if I wanted to, I could bite pizza and pull it out of my mouth, and nothing would come off the slice. It was such a big gap. And so all my teachers and everyone, they're like, you're doing great work. We just don't know what your facility is going to be. So I remember right after college, I booked the non-equity tour of Big right after college in like 98 to 99. And then 99 was my time to get surgery. And then after that, it was like working with my friend's theater company in San Francisco. And I thought that was going to be my place where I would get together with my friends and work on my choreographic ideas and really like create a really reputable company. Unfortunately, that kind of fell through, and then there I was just hustling, and I was trying to acknowledge my new face because I went from being not funny looking, cute. I looked like Fred Savage met Jay Leno, like that kind of like
Okay.
interesting combo. I had a lisp, and so once I was fixed, I kept acting like the person I was before, trying to disguise, like, don't look at my face. And then I would going into these auditions with this new face, and so people were looking at me like, who the hell are you? Because I'm like, hi guys, I'm gonna sing a song. Like I was bonkers. And then finally one audition, it happened 2001, I think, where I was like, you know what? just have to claim that I'm the hottest man ever. I'm gonna wear tight gay clothing to this audition, tight red pants, this kind of tight baseball, like, you know, those baseball
Yeah,
jersey
baseball
things,
yeah.
tees. And I just went in and I was like, just be a hot ass. Just have your buns be sculpted in your pants and just go in there and be sex. And I got a gig. I got my first equity gig after getting my car. Like that was when I finally went, oh.
How old were you then?
So that was, I must have been 25. Yeah, 24, 25.
So you got your first equity gig, and then like
Then
the next gig
immediately
was
booked
Broadway.
No, it was an interesting thing because it went, I think my friend at his theater company gave me my card. After getting my card, I auditioned 40, 50, 60 times, got nothing because I was still thinking I was someone else and covering and masking. Then once it came 2001, I was like, let's change this. I got Footloose at North Carolina Theater. I then got like, I think I got the only play I've ever done, Limonade tous les jours, a Charles Mee play at like Actors Theater of Louisville in their Humana Festival, in which I spoke no English. I had to speak in French. I sang an Italian aria as a countertenor while I did a tango with a bathtub. And that was like fabulous. It was like so cool. And then I nailed a gig, I think another gig at North Carolina Theater, a gig with Musicals Tonight, and my first Broadway show right then. So as soon as I made the change, and I was like, just go in there and be hot. And just like do your thing and don't try to mask or don't try to be weird or don't try to like be their friend. Just go in there and sell it.
Be yourself.
Yeah. And what was interesting about 42nd Street, my first Broadway show, I auditioned multiple times. I kept coming in, and that's what people were saying. Don't ever get discouraged that you get cut. Keep going. So I remember I auditioned for the original company for an immediate replacement, and then there was another call, and then finally they were looking for an immediate replacement for a swing. And yeah.
And you tapped your way.
So
on
that
Broadway.
that was like 2002, really. Yeah.
So
2002.
you like Amy Schumer, I Feel Pretty, Your Life. That's the key.
Yeah.
I really agree with you. I think that's a huge part of it.
It's interesting now that I'm on the other side, and it's like, I wish there could be some foolproof thing to tell people to audition, but if you really honestly just go in there, genuinely being yourself, having done preparation, that's a big thing that I feel now. Sure. If you just come in and wing it, you then can question everything. But if you full on go, I've gone over my song a lot, I've thought about the person I'm singing to, I've worked with someone on my sides and paid someone to like watch me. If you go into the audition, then if you get it or don't get it, you know you've done your best.
Yeah.
And that's the advice you give like young performers, to just go in, be themselves, be ready.
Yeah, be as prepared as you can. Because if you're not, then you're really to blame.
Yeah.
Also, it's an interesting dynamic because, like, once you enter the door, how personable, like, or like, how friendly are you? Are you too schmoozy? I know I sometimes get allergic to the person that's just a little too friendly or something. But just like efficiency, just like but also not rushing it. I know I've seen many a person come in, and rush right out, and I had no idea who they were anymore because they felt like they were apologizing the whole time they were in the room with me. Right. It's like, just take your time.
Do you like being behind the desk?
Because I like...
You like being behind the desk.
I know what I did.
Right? But no, because I love being supportive. And people have told me in the beginning of my career that sometimes my face gave off a different energy, and so I really had to learn, and I think a lot of people should know this, choreographers or directors, we as actors read the face, and we base so much of our performance on that. So I've learned how, regardless of if I'm exhausted or have to go to the bathroom or hungry, or I've heard the song like 12 times today, you have to elevate because it only gets the best performance and best audition out of the person. But I try, because one time I think I was assisting and I was sitting behind the table and this guy was singing and I was like captivated. I was like, what a beautiful tenor. But my face was like, looked like he was sour or looked like he like smelled or disgusting. And he later told me, he got hired for the season. He later told me when I was working with him, he's like, well, you know the face you gave me when I was singing. I was like, no. He's like, you looked like death. Like it looked.
You looked like death.
You looked like you were just like having like my voice was just like nails on a chalkboard. And I said, oh my God, that's not the case. I remember thinking, what a beautiful voice.
I have that problem as well.
So I just
make a lot of faces that I don't mean to make.
Yeah.
Because or sometimes I'm just not present with what you're
Right.
saying because I'm thinking about probably lunch.
Yeah.
And
I was
I'm
gonna
just
say, I'm
like,
not paying attention. That's the problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're just like, what's happening? You know, and so.
And it's tricky. It can get hard.
You know what? Good for him because I barely look at people's faces in the room. Like while I'm performing, you know, like when I walk in, I'm not like hello and looking at the ceiling. But
Right.
when I'm performing, I don't make a point to like watch their reactions.
Oh, I look up, but you can do that side eye.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That magical thing where you kind of like assess. Like you don't make it
Like
your.
shifty-eyed.
Yeah, or like right now I'm looking at you. So it's like you can kind of gauge, but I try not to let that inform. It's just feeling the room.
Yeah.
And you're already so actively sensitive, so just trying to, have your person, sing to it, just be beautiful with your voice, and that's really all it is. You want to see someone has a really strong voice and that they're making a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all got that like mechanism in us where we're like, I'm present in the room, but I've done this 30 times, so I can sing this and be consciously aware of everything going on in this room at the same time.
Right.
Sometimes I'm not like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just like, I need to focus on what I am doing, or I will be distracted.
That's okay.
Yeah. But for anyone just auditioning, just do your homework. That's like the greatest thing. And then you have nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
If you didn't get it, it's because you were not the right type. It's because some other factor came into play. Or like I'm just starting to like just really acknowledge like you probably are already in the cast. It's someone else who's identical to you. You know, and that's happened many times for me. Like Jerry Mitchell, I remember auditioning for him for like the original company of Hairspray. And I was told either by him or one of the associate came up and said, look, we already have you. He likes you. Keep coming back. So I was like, great. So I think I auditioned for the show Never Gonna Dance. And I did really well. And then my friend, I think who dance captained the show, saw me. I think I was still in 42nd Street. He's like, so did you get a call? I'm like, no, I didn't get it. He's like, oh. He's like, they loved you. Keep going back. And so finally La Cage came. And I was like, all right. I'm just going to go in there. I brought my pink fur wrap. Like we had to bring in like scarves and it was bedazzled and I had my heels and I just kept thinking, I'm getting this. Like every time they said, bring this new element in, bring this new element. We're going to do makeup. And I just owned it. And I was like, I was told he likes you, keep coming. And if I didn't hear that, I would have been discouraged and been like, he doesn't like me after multiple auditions, not getting a callback or anything. But finally, I got La Cage on Broadway, and then I did his Legally Blonde on the road. So he was an amazing support, lovely. Like he comes and watches my dance pieces, and he's been incredible.
Wow. You said always be prepared. We've talked about this before about how much they're asking actors for callbacks.
Oh my God!
Like a one-night turnover.
Yeah.
So
you mean like 30 pages?
Yeah, you had a callback that was about 30 pages.
Yeah, I went through a bandstand callback where they was literally I think I got the material at like 7 that night, and my callback was at like 9 a.m. the next morning, and it was 30 pages, and it was saxophone, multiple sides, and multiple songs, of which it's a brand new show.
Yep.
So I had nothing to reference whatsoever.
So how do you prepare for those kinds of things?
You just pray, I guess.
Well, yeah,
like,
I just didn't like sleep. I mean, I was burning through it.
I know it's a trend, and I've been seeing a lot of my friends having to prepare so many sides with not a lot of time. I honestly don't know the benefit of that. As when I'm watching people do sides, 1 or 2, and I know what they can do.
Well, but they tell you to prepare 6, and they'll ask for 2, and that's the part. And I've had other friends, I'm going off a union specifically that have been like, why is this not a rule yet? Like, how do we not have something covered with that? Because it is bananas.
Were you saying they're discussing that?
There was a discussion.
Okay.
Nothing happened because it's not been set in stone.
I just don't know how anyone can be their best if they're like
you're
ill
just
prepared.
frazzled. Yeah.
Like I love having a week or something in which to like sink into the material.
You marinate in it.
Yeah, and memorize as much as I can, but still hold the sheet so it doesn't look like I'm giving a performance.
Yourself, like when you pull an all-nighter, you can't really discover. You're just like, okay, here it is.
Yeah, you're crazy.
No, it's just like if I got all the notes right, that was the best I was gonna. I wasn't even worried about like being present. I was like, I'm gonna be as present as I can possibly be.
Yeah.
But that's not gonna be comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe it pertains to new shows. Maybe they have no idea.
Yeah,
so they're
one of the people I know that had that, it was like a thing for like Wicked though, and they asked for like so much rap. And like I think there's a certain point where you expect that they're gonna ask you like God knows what from the book.
Right.
But that being said, I'm pretty sure she was still on tour with something else, and she was like, I have another job to worry about. Like, I want this, but that's a lot.
It's too much. I never need that. I know exactly what I need based off of even just one side. You can tell if the person has acting chops and if they're right. And and I also give corrections. Like, you always have to give a direction. You always have to see how they are able to process and play and not get stuck or like stubborn with their choice. So I don't understand when auditions I've gone in for, especially if I've flown in and I'm like so excited and there and I sing and they're like, thanks. and they're or I do a side once, and they're like, great, and you're like, don't you want to see if I'm going to be easy to work with, like, or how do you know? Like, I'm basing that off of my instinct. Like, what's the character that you want? A big thing that I always forget to do sometimes is right away ask the director, so what are you looking for? Like, right away giving him or her the opportunity to direct you.
Yeah.
So you might get insight, and then it might trigger in that particular director, oh, this person is curious about what I think, so that's an ego boost. But sometimes I forget that. I'm like, I should have asked them if there was anything they wanted to see, a certain color, a certain take on it, and the more information you have, the better. But
so another tidbit from Josh Walden.
That's right.
I said that like a newscaster.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Yeah.